Lorovaca formed around 0.77 Ma of tholeiitic to alkali basalts, followed by the collapse of its summit into a caldera. Then at about 0.3 Ma, cinder cones formed along a NNESSW trend on the western rim. While porphyritic benmoitic lava filled the caldera, and pahoehoe flowed towards the northern coast, forming lava tubes, and to the southeast, lava domes and a vent complex formed in the Maunga Puka area, while breccias formed along the vents on the western portion of Rano Arroy crater. This volcano's southern and southeastern flanks are composed of younger flows consisting of basalt, alkali, basalt, hawaiite, muggearite, and benmorite from eruptive fissures starting at 0.24 Mate. Youngest lava flow, Roiho, is dated at 0.11 Ma. The Hunga o Teo embayment is interpreted to be a 200 meters high landslide scarp. Rano Raraku and Maunga Toa Toa are isolated tuff cones of about 0.21 Ma. The crater of Rano Raraku contains a freshwater lake. The stratified tuff is composed of sideromelane, slightly altered to pelagonite, and somewhat lithified. The tuff contains lithic fragments of older lava flows. The northwest sector of Rano Raraku contains reddish volcanic ash, according to Bandy. All of the great images of Easter Island are carved from the light and porous tuff from Rano Raraku. A carving was abandoned when a large, dense and hard lithic fragment was encountered. However, these lithics became the basis for stone hammers and chisels. The Puna Pau crater contains an extremely porous pumice, from which was carved the pukau hats. The Maunga Orito obsidian was used to make the matar spearheads in the first half of the 20th century. Steam reportedly came out of the Rano Kau crater wall. This was photographed by the island's manager, Mr. Edmonds. The ancient Easter Island residents captured fresh groundwater where it seeped into the sea. Under the Köppen climate classification, the climate of Easter Island is classified as a tropical rainforest climate, AF, that borders on a humid subtropical climate, CFA. The lowest temperatures are recorded in July and August, minimum 15 degrees Celsius or 59 degrees Fahrenheit, and the highest in February, maximum temperature 28 degrees Celsius or 82.4 degrees Fahrenheit. The summer season in the southern hemisphere. Winters are relatively mild. The rainiest month is May, though the island experiences year-round rainfall. Easter Island's isolated location exposes it to winds which help to keep the temperature fairly cool. Precipitation averages 1,118 mm or 44 inches per year. Occasionally, heavy rainfall and rainstorms strike the island. These occur mostly in the winter months, June–August, since it is close to the South Pacific High and outside the range of the Intertropical Convergence Zone. Cyclones and hurricanes do not occur around Easter Island. There is significant temperature moderation due to its isolated position in the middle of the ocean. Easter Island, together with its closest neighbor, The tiny island of Isla Salas y Gomez, 415 kilometers, 258 miles, farther east, is recognized by ecologists as a distinct ecoregion. The Rapa Nui subtropical broadleaf forests. The original subtropical moist broadleaf forests are now gone, but paleobotanical studies of fossil pollen, tree molds left by lava flows, and root casts found in local soils indicate that the island was formerly forested, with a range of trees, shrubs, ferns, and grasses. A large extinct palm, Pachylococos disperta, related to the Chilean wine palm, Jubia calensis, was one of the dominant trees as attested by fossil evidence. Like its Chilean counterpart, it probably took close to 100 years to reach adult height. The Polynesian rat, which the original settlers brought with them, played a very important role in the disappearance of the Rapa Nui palm. Although some may believe that rats played a major role in the degradation of the forest. Less than 10% of palm nuts show teeth marks from rats. The remains of palm stumps in different places indicate that humans caused the trees to fall because in large areas, the stumps were cut efficiently. The loss the palms to make the settlements led to their extinction almost 350 years ago. The Toromiro tree, Sophora toromiro, was prehistorically present on Easter Island, but is now extinct in the wild. However, the Royal Botanic Gardens, Kew, and the Göteborg Botanical Garden are jointly leading a scientific program to reintroduce the Toromiro to Easter Island. With the palm and the Toromiro virtually gone, there was considerably less rainfall as a result of less condensation, after the island was used to feed thousands of sheep for almost a century. By the mid-1900s the island was mostly covered in grassland with natu or bulrush, Chernoplectus californicus tatora, in the crater lakes of Rano Raraku and Rano Kau. The presence of these reeds, which are called tatora in the Andes, was used to support the argument of a South American origin of the statue builders. But pollen analysis of lake sediments shows these reeds have grown on the island for over 30,000 years. Before the arrival of humans, Easter Island had vast seabird colonies containing probably over 30 resident species, perhaps the world's richest. Such colonies are no longer found on the main island. Fossil evidence indicates 6 species of land birds, 2 rails, 2 parrots, 1 owl, and 1 heron, all of which have become extinct. 5 introduced species of land bird are known to have breeding populations. See List of birds of Easter Island. Lack of studies results in poor understanding of the oceanic fauna of Easter Island and waters in its vicinity. However, possibilities of undiscovered breeding grounds for humpback, southern blue and pygmy blue whales including Easter Island and Isla Salas y Gomez have been considered. Potential breeding areas for fin whales have been detected off northeast of the island as well. The immunosuppressant drug sirolimus was first discovered in the bacterium Streptomyces hygroscopicus in a soil sample from Easter Island. The drug is also known as rapamycin, After Rapa Nui, it is now being studied for extending longevity in mice. Trees are sparse, rarely forming natural groves. And it has been argued whether native Easter Islanders deforested the island in the process of erecting their statues, and in providing sustenance for an overconsumption of natural resources from a overcrowded island. Citation needed. Experimental archaeology demonstrated that some statues certainly could have been placed on Y-shaped wooden frames called miro manga erua and then pulled to their final destinations on ceremonial sites. Other theories involve the use of ladders, parallel wooden rails, over which the statues could have been dragged. Rapa Nui traditions metaphorically refer to spiritual power, mana, as the means by which the moai were walked from the quarry. Recent experimental recreations have proven that it is fully possible that the moai were literally walked from their quarries to their final positions by use of ropes, casting doubt on the role that their existence plays in the environmental collapse of the island, given the island's southern latitude. The climatic effects of the Little Ice Age, about 1650 to 1850, may have exacerbated deforestation. Although this remains speculative, many researchers point to the climatic downtrend caused by the Little Ice Age as a contributing factor to resource stress and to the palm tree's disappearance. Experts, however, do not agree on when the island's palms became extinct. Jared Diamond dismisses past climate change as a dominant cause of the island's deforestation in his book Collapse, which assesses the collapse of the ancient Easter Islanders, influenced by Heyerdahl's romantic interpretation of Easter's history. Diamond insists that the disappearance of the island's trees seems to coincide with a decline of its civilization around the 17th and 18th centuries, alongside declines of fish bones in middens, suggesting a decline in fishing, and then declines in bird bones, which he attributes to habitat loss. He notes that they stopped making statues at that time and started destroying the ahu. But the link is weakened because the Birdman cult continued to thrive and survived the great impact caused by the arrival of explorers, whalers, sandalwood traders, and slave raiders. Benny Pazer noted evidence of self-sufficiency when Europeans first arrived. The island still had smaller trees, mainly Toromiro, which became extinct in the wild in the 20th century, probably because of slow growth and changes in the island's ecosystem. Cornelis Booman, Jacob Roggeveen's captain, stated in his logbook, "Of yams, bananas and small coconut palms we saw little and no other trees or crops." According to Carl Friedrich Behrens, Roggeveen's officer, the natives presented palm branches as peace offerings. According to ethnographer Alfred Metro, the most common type of house was called hair pinga, and is known today as boathouse, because the roof resembled an overturned boat. The foundations of the houses were made of buried basalt slabs with holes for wooden beams to connect with each other throughout the width of the house. These were then covered with a layer of tatora reed, followed by a layer of woven sugarcane leaves, and lastly a layer of woven grass. Pazer claims that these reports indicate that large trees existed at that time, which is perhaps contradicted by the Bowman quote above. Plantations were often located farther inland, next to foothills, inside open-ceiling lava tubes, and in other places protected from the strong salt winds and salt spray affecting areas closer to the coast. It is possible many of the Europeans did not venture inland. The Statue Quarry, only 1 kilometer (5/8 mile) from the coast with an impressive cliff 100 meters (330 feet) high, was not explored by Europeans until well into the 19th century.